The purpose of this talk is to demonstrate to every viewer that they are an angel, and to prove that every human being on this planet at this time is a hybrid, having a human soul and a human brain, which is connected via a subconscious link to an angelic soul and an angelic brain. And if you're born again as a Christian, as a saint, as an angel, then you own that angel to which you are connected with a subconscious link. And if you're not born again, then you don't own it, but you still have it. I'm going to prove that. It's not difficult to prove. Here's how you prove it. Everybody knows that movies are screened in cinemas and shot on movie sets in studios such as Hollywood, Pinewood, Bollywood, and the process of making a movie is different from the process of screening it. They occur in different places with different numbers of people. To screen it is quite easy, you just need a projector and an audience. To shoot it, you need a bunch of actors, you need a plot, you need a movie set, you need producers, directors, film editors, all the different people. Two massively different tasks performed in two different locations by different groups of people. The same is true of a dream. You see a dream at night in your head, and the movie cinema for that dream is your brain. Your brain screens it. You see it as if it was through your eyes this way, but actually it's obviously from inside your brain, as if it's going through your eyes and your ears. It's an internal matter. Your brain is the movie cinema. And all I'm saying to you, and it's hardly surprising, is that the movie studio for your dream is not your human brain. That's all I'm saying. Everybody knows that you don't make a movie in a cinema. You screen a movie in a cinema, you make it in DreamWorks, you make it in MGM, you make it on Pinewood, you make it on a movie lot, you make it wherever you want, but it's not in not in a cinema. Nobody made a movie in a cinema. Well, there are a few parts of movies shot in cinema. But so that's what I'm saying. It's indisputable that the movie cinema is not where the movie is made. It's made in the studio. It's the same with your dreams. You dream them in your head. You see them at night. They are not shot in your head. They are shot in the movie studio. What is the movie studio for your dreams? Where are they shot? Well, it's a different brain. It's got to be another type of a brain. It's your angelic brain, and the two are connected via a subconscious link. That's why you cannot access your brain consciously, your angelic brain consciously. You can only access it subconsciously, so it can feed you a dream. I'm not sure it can't maybe feed you a vision during the day as well, actually, if you get one. But it's a subconscious link, it's not a conscious link. Alright, so that's the concept. It's a very straightforward concept. Just as the movie studio is separate from the cinema, so the brain that creates your dream is separate from the brain that screens your dream. Your cinematic human brain is not the movie studio for the dream. The movie studio is your angelic brain, the cinema is the human brain. You can prove that that must be the case from the following observation. To make, I think it was Monsters Inc. I don't have these figures dead right, but it took about 18 months or more, and it used a server farm of somewhere around 22,000 computers going at 2 gigahertz for 18 months to render the entire movie. And Tom Hanks describes I don't think he was in Monsters Inc., but his animated movies. He says the way an actor acts is he turns up says about 4 sentences, goes home and comes back 6 months later and says another 4 sentences. That's how long it takes. So in order to shoot and produce and edit and make and create an animated movie, it takes 22,000 very, very fast computers, 18 months. It takes hundreds of people to work on it, a budget of millions, and a scriptwriter and editors and production people and actors and directors and financiers, and a huge great process, and a huge amount of computing time. Massive computational resources are required. We know that because we make animated movies. And let's now look at the human brain, and it's not hard to see that it does not have the computational capacity to shoot, to make a movie in real time. I mean, we don't have a computer that can make a movie in real time. We can render a movie that lasts 90 minutes in a period that takes 18 months. But we're nowhere near doing it in real time, even with 22,000 computers going at 2 gigahertz. The human brain, as regards the eyes, goes at about 10 hertz, which is why 24 frames per second seems to be continuous to us. As regards to the ears, it goes at about 200 hertz, because you can hear a 5 millisecond delay, and there's 205 milliseconds in one second. A second, hertz is cycles per second, and there's 200 cycles of 5 milliseconds in 1 second. So it's 200 hertz is the speed that we can process sound, the brain processes sound, and 10 hertz for vision. And your clock speed of your brain is therefore somewhere around 200 hertz. Not 2 gigahertz, that's 2 billion hertz. Your brain is 200 hertz, not 2 billion hertz. It's 10 million times slower than a PC. And it takes 22,000 PCs to shoot a movie, and they can't do it in real time. They take 18 months to shoot 90 minutes, which means that they're 16 times 30 times 18 out, which is 480 times 18, which is more or less 500 times 20, which is 10,000. It's a bit less, so it's 8,000. So it's 8,000 times too slow. 22,000 computers, right? Each of one going 100 million times faster than your brain is 8,000 times too slow to shoot a movie in real time. They managed to do a 90-minute movie in 18 months. So 8,000 times 100 million times 22,000 is 100 million times 166, which is 1,600 times 100 million. So that's 10 to the 14, 16,600 times 10 to the 14, which is 16.6 times 10 to the 17. It's a million, isn't it? Would that be 10 to the 18? It's 0.166 of a million, which is a billion. So it's 0.16 of a billion times too slow. It's nowhere near fast enough on any calculation you like to do. We do not have in our human brains the computational capability to shoot a movie. I mean, we can't even remember a 16-digit credit card number, for God's sake. How are we going to shoot a movie? We can screen it. So it's a proof that you own a second brain, which is of the billions of times faster than the human brain. Now, the Jacob's ladder in the Bible is 30 steps long. You can deduce that from the Genesis account of it with a sentence count, or you can deduce it from the height of Noah's Ark, which was 30 cubits, a cubit for a day. It takes 30 days to ascend to heaven. I mean, this is just some biblical extra. It doesn't, if you don't believe anything written in the Bible, if you don't, fine, you have that right. You can ignore this part of the talk. But 30 days up Jacob's ladder, doubling in speed every day. 30 times 2 is 1 billion. So an angelic brain is 1 billion times faster than a human brain. It's not 1 billion times faster, but God's software, I mean, mankind actually can do it. Mankind can now do it better than 22,000 computers going at 2 gigahertz. We have better software and better computers. So with better software, maybe you don't need a billion times faster than a human brain. Maybe you can do it with 1 billion times faster with really good film studio movie making software. So there it is. Every time you dream, now you dream all night, you just don't remember it unless you get woken up. If ever you get woken up in the night, you remember the dream that you're at. If you don't get woken up, you only remember the last minute of the dream, which you remember when you wake up. So because you don't consciously experience your subconscious. But when you get woken up and there's an interface between the two, you can experience the last bit of your subconscious. And sometimes, I don't really know why, people wake up and remember an entire dream, if the dream scares them into waking up or something. But anyway, we all know that we dream. It's indisputable, and I have just proven to you that you do not have the intellectual capacity to shoot that dream in your brain. You can screen it, you cannot make it. Your brain can be the IMAX cinema, it cannot be DreamWorks. And we know that no movie is made in a cinema, it's made in a movie studio. We know that they're made in a different place to where they're screened. So we should absolutely expect to have a second intelligence which is far more greater in its capacity than our human intelligence. Because that is how we dream. We have a movie studio brain and we have a cinema brain. The movie studio brain is your angelic brain. That is how you dream. Every time you dream, every night, you're dreaming on your angelic brain. What's happening is your angelic brain is live streaming to you, which is something we now understand, through your subconscious. It is live streaming a movie that it is shooting in real time with its incredibly fast and brilliant intelligence. And what I find so ironic, and I hope you've reached this point in the talk, is that a lot of rich people and clever people are trying to make an interface between humans and computers. A neural link is Elon Musk's term for a neural link or something, where we get joined up with a big computer for the purpose of supposedly making us more intelligent, and for the final purpose of maybe uploading us into a computer if our biological body should fail us. What these people who are endeavouring to do that interesting task don't understand is we are already a hybrid. We already have a Neuralink interface. It's called our subconscious, and it's already attached to an intelligence far greater than ours, with far more computing capacity, with more computing capacity and better software than 22,000 computers going at 2 gigahertz. In fact, it's something like, well, it's 8,000 times better than those 22,000 computers, isn't it? So it's 166 million times better than a server farm. Our angelic brain, we already have it. There's no need to create a neural link to a computerized brain, because here we are sitting in our human bodies with a human brain which is subconsciously linked to an angelic DreamWorks, which is more powerful than any computer known to man, which can actually shoot a movie in real time, something that 22,000 2 gigahertz machines cannot do, by a factor of 166 million. And that is why you are a hybrid. You are an angelic human hybrid, and the proof is every time you dream. So, in summary, mankind, with a server farm containing 24,000 computers going 3 gigahertz, and with 100 dedicated people who are all conscious and working, maybe some of them from home, but working consciously, solidly, hopefully, and with a script already written, it takes 3 years to make a 90-minute movie. It is therefore not credible to take the position that an unconscious human in his dream can do that same feat in real time. He would have to be unconsciously have more intellectual capacity than 100 conscious humans. He'd have to have a more intellectual capacity in 90 minutes than 100 conscious humans have in 3 years. And in addition to that, he'd have to have an extra load of capacity, more than 24,000 3 gigahertz computers. Now, a human brain goes at 80 hertz max gamma waves, and it has 80 billion neurons. So the maximum number of operations it can do in a second is 80 billion times 80, which is 640 billion, whereas a computer can do 4 billion in a second, not 640. But 24,000 computers going at 4 gigahertz can do 96,000 billion. So it's 96,000 compared to 640, which is 9200 compared to 64, which is 150, isn't it? So it's 150 times faster than the brain, just the computers. Just the computers. But we're not talking about just the computers, we're talking about 100 conscious humans working full-time for 3 years with a script already defined, and on top of that 24,000 computers, and that is what it takes to make a 90-minute movie. And the idea that a subconscious person in his dream can compete with that is completely absurd. I've always thought that if I was intelligent enough, I could see God. And that is true of everybody. And the reason we don't instantly see him is we're too damn stupid. But from this you can see him. It is absolutely obvious that a person who is asleep, operating in his subconscious, cannot with his mind both run himself in a dream, as usual, and run an entire virtual reality with all the other people in his dream, ranging from family members to ex-girlfriends to present girlfriends to celebrities or whoever turns up in your dream and you interact with, or the lion about to eat you, or the whatever it might be in your dream. So, because, as I said, 24,000 3 gigahertz machines and 100 humans working flat out take 3 years to make a 90-minute movie, and you make several of those each night with one brain. It cannot be done with a human brain, I'm sorry. As I said, 80 hertz maximum. The gamma waves are 40 to 80 hertz. That's the fastest operation your brain can do. That's 80 operations a second. You've got 80 billion neurons, 640 billion operations per second. 24,000 computers at 3 gigahertz. They're going to do 72,000 billion operations per second rather than the 640. So it's 64 to 7200. So it's 115 times as fast. So you've got a server farm that used to be used by Pixar maybe 10 years ago. That server farm, or 8 years ago, that server farm is 115 times faster than one human brain. But that's not including the other 100 people who are conscious. And even with that capability, with that increased capability, it still takes them thousands of times longer than real time to do a movie. I mean, the closest humans can get to a real-time performance like that is a play. But of course, in a play, you don't have the virtual reality background. You've just got all these stages, sets, you know, and you've got other people in the play. So you've got more than one brain. And so it is more than apparent that your human brain can screen a movie, a dream. It cannot make the dream. It cannot produce it, edit, make it, write it. It cannot do that. That is being done by another brain, which is connected through a subconscious link to your brain. And that other brain is also obviously owned by you. Well, it's not actually owned by you. It's available. If you're born again, it is. If you're not born again, it's available to you, but you don't own it. So it's an angelic brain, which are one hell of a lot faster than human brains. And if you work out from the mathematics of it how much faster they'd need to be, which isn't too easy because you can work it out from a hardware standpoint, but God's software would probably be, well, would definitely be a lot better than human software. But even still, it would have to be thousands of times faster than a human brain, an angel's brain. So what that little analysis proves, beyond any doubt, because mankind is nowhere near doing it, even when they're conscious and in huge numbers and with huge numbers of computers as well, it proves that when you dream, the dream is streamed to you from an angelic server. Okay, that's what it proves. Certainly from an intelligence that is greater than yours, isn't in your brain, and the only reasonable candidate for that is an angel. So you've got an angelic server, and once you've proven the existence of an angel, you have proven the existence of God. But more excitingly, you are an angelic hybrid, and as I said, mankind is busy with Neuralink, and especially Elon Musk. They're busy trying to link us to a computer, to turn us into a hybrid between a sort of fast computerized intelligence and our own intelligence, which is an incredibly bad idea, because when Sinclair invented the first scientific calculator, the net result was everybody became innumerate. And when whoever it was who invented the remote control for a TV, we all became couch potatoes and we became totally unhealthy. And if we were to be plugged in permanently to some kind of incredibly fast computer, it would just make our brains completely useless and we'd turn into morons. We'd end up being innumerate, fat, couch potato morons. So it's a really, really bad idea. And also it's completely pointless because God's already done it, but in a much better way. We already are linked to an intelligence way faster even than what we can do with computers. Faster than 24,000 computers at 3 gigahertz, faster than an entire server farm. We're linked to that because we see it every night in our dreams. So there's absolutely no need. It's a moronic endeavour to repeat what God has already done without seeing what he has obviously done, if you would analyse what a dream is. So I hope somebody gets it. If you, please comment if you can knock the argument down. Please make some comments underneath the video. Thanks.